Hi guys. So this video will be a little bit different. I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna come out. It is about new moon in Pisces, but not exactly. So I'm going to put few things together here. Let's just see how the flow goes and how it's gonna come out. Yeah, there is a lot of things going on in the world at the moment, and everything is really tidied up into this concept, and pretty much all the energies going on above are very much reflected with what's going on below. All these news, all these situations that are currently present in our reality are being perfectly described and describing perfectly the transits that are happening at the moment. And that's obviously coming up towards this new moon in Pisces, which will be happening on the 20th. Obviously depends where you are in the world. For some people it might be on Sunday, for some people it might be on Monday. So just a little recap what's been going on this week. As we know, obviously we had the Mercury sextile Neptune on the 6th, 7th, Venus sextile Uranus. Then we had Mercury conjunct Pluto. That was the big one. That was only last week. So obviously that gave us the last of information, what keeping us still feel disempowered. And then this week, Venus conjunct Neptune, Mercury square the nodes, and then yesterday, Sun conjuncting Saturn. So it's all about these restrictions. Obviously, Sun is still transiting through the sign of Aquarius. So it's highlighting this, need for individuation, and practically what's going on in the world is playing into that. I'll get to this in the moment. And right now, today, we have Mercury in the Aquarius sextile in Jupiter. So again, we have this information. Again, I'm going to discuss more in this just in a second. I'm just kind of trying to build up by reflecting the transits, because everything is really perfectly describing what's going on, and I'll get into the practical description in a sec. And then we have on the 19th, which is just the day before the new moon, we'll have Venus in Pisces, sextile in Pluto in Capricorn on a 29 degrees, the last degree for Venus and the last degree for Pluto, just before it will transit into the sign of Aquarius next month, which is again really profound. This is this is the new phase sextile for Venus. So obviously Venus is working already on new topics. She's just met with Neptune. So, there is this knowing of what needs to be let go, what needs to be dissolved in order to, achieve empowerment. And then next week, we're going to have Mercury sextile Uranus and Mercury trine Mars in Gemini, ruled by Mercury, and then Sun sextile the North Node. So anyway, so all that astrology beside, so this has been building up, and it's actually going to continue, till the end of the month. And right at the day of this new moon, we have some interesting transits, like Pluto is sextile in Venus, obviously, as we know, that's happening at the same time. Actually, on the same day, later on, Venus will change sign. She will enter the sign of Aries, which is again very important, because Aries is all about new beginning. And after the closing cycle with Neptune, Venus is now ready to start anew. So she is just making this conjunction with Pluto to give her this boost of of power, like this is what needs to happen. And now she has the message, and now she's gonna go for it. She's gonna go into the sign of Aries, where she's gonna make it happen. At the same time, we have this Mercury trine in Mars in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, like I said. And then actually Saturn is still within the degree conjunction with the new moon, so it's all about these restrictions, where we feel restricted, where the definitions have to be redefined, where the definition of reality has to be redefined, where, we need to take responsibility and learn about boundaries and, achieve this emotional maturity and stability. And anyway, so the only square that we've got going on during the new moon is actually square between Mercury and Uranus. And this is actually perfectly reflecting the reality right now, because we have all this news. I've just shared video from Amanda Ellis. Good Amanda Ellis, love you, Amanda Ellis. So I again shared the video, like her latest video, and this is really a wake-up call video, guys, because she goes really deep into what's going on in current world, like with the news and all the messages that are being given to people throughout the media and stuff like that. And to be honest, like I said many times, I don't watch news, so I get my information through the people that I follow, because being here in Mexico is like I feel so removed, but obviously we are part of everything, and I'm also tapping into the energy of what's going on in the worldwide. I have Cancer moon, so I am very intuitive, and this week I was feeling all over the place, like I mentioned in my videos. Like last week I was sick, and that also makes me wonder, why was I feeling sick, out of nowhere, literally just for one day. And I think that, again, I was perhaps tapping into these energies that are happening worldwide, and we are all part of it, so we all feel into these energies. So with all these current Mercurian transits that we have through the sign of Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, obviously Uranus being in Taurus at the moment, still within the degree of conjunction with the North Node, which is our destiny. So what does this mean? So there's been going on all these messages, all these messages that are bringing, destabilizing us, because, like all these natural disasters and things that are completely out of our control. And, what are we going to do about it? And this is just like, again, it's shaking on a foundation. So it's, this Taurus archetype, which is like this stability. It's very fixed sign. It just doesn't want anything to change because it's comfortable, stuck in this comfort zone. It can, see it's a little part of the sky, so it's all happy, like the frog in a well, right? But we are all part of this, we collective on this planet. So we all on this earth. So anything that's happening on this planet is affecting everyone, regardless of whether you are in a location where these disasters happen or not. And this Mercury being in a sign of Aquarius is actually bringing us all this information that are making us think, making us think from the humanitarian perspective that actually we are all in this together, and hey, how am I being impacted by this information, and where again I'm being reminded where I'm feeling limited, where I maybe don't have a control over, these situations that's going on, or perhaps, someone else has a control over my resources, or someone else has a control over the information I'm receiving, which again, with Neptune, with Neptune is all about divinity and wholeness, and, this unconditional love, and it's all part of it. But the flip side of it is also lies. So what informations are we being fed? Are these information actually truth? And what intentions do this information have? Is this to empower us or disempower us? Is it to fearmonger us, or what is it actually doing? So these are questions that are very relevant at the moment. And of course, like in the first half of the video where Amanda talks about the first topic that she discusses, I highly recommend to go and watch it. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, so I don't want to talk too much into what Amanda talks about in her video, because it's her creation. But she is perfectly spot on, because with this new moon in Pisces, yes, of course, it is about this deeper, higher meaning. Like, we put in the intentions and setting the seeds in the ground, what it is that we want to create, like what life of purpose, higher meaning we want to create. But also the Pisces archetypes, it is also about, diseases, disasters. It is about natural, spillages and contamination and pollution and toxicity, that's all part of Pisces archetype, and it doesn't have boundaries. So it's not something that is restricting to one place, one location, but it's something that affects everything, because we are tapping into the same source, into the same wholeness. So again, with this new moon in Pisces, and Saturn still being in the mix, in the play, it's like, where is our power? Where do we feel disempowered? Who has the authority over everything, over our life? And this is going to be the message for the entire year. And I keep repeating myself, and I keep going. I will keep going on about it, because there is more to talk about these themes. It's like it goes really deep, like with all these outside planet, Neptune, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, which are fully in action at the moment with all that's going on. it goes very deep. It goes very into subconscious and into the human collective. This is not just something that affects us in our individual life, which it does also, but this affects everyone. And it's not personal. Things are happening that are not that are not comfortable, that are tragic, that are devastating, and this is to wake us up, to shake us out of this complacency, or of this comfort zone of Taurus, like, oh yeah, things are good, let's go back to how things were. There is no going back. We're never going back. We're only going forward. And now with this stepping into the age of Aquarius, and with Pluto dipping its toes into the sign of Aquarius next month, we're not going back. And I will discuss more. Actually, I watched a presentation from my teacher Simon. I'm going to share the video later on. I don't want to overwhelm with all these shares, but I will share it because it's amazing. It's about what Pluto in the sign of Aquarius is going to come up with, like his thoughts, and it's amazing. And it's important to be aware of this and be prepared. And this is actually why all these things are happening. If you keep following the information that keeps coming out about this, let's find out what the truth is, where we feel restricted, what are our values, what is your truth. This is all playing up into the same story, which is the story of individuation, is the story of Aquarius, of taking your power back, of feeling empowered. Because guys, this will keep going on. I mean, like, Uranus has another 3 years in a sign of Taurus, so there will be more of these things, unfortunately. More natural disasters, more problems with resources, more fear for survival, because Taurus in its primal core essence is all about survival. It's like, what do I need to survive, and how am I going to get what I need to survive? So there will be more of these themes, because Uranus, it's a great awakener, and Uranus, it's very unpredictable. So anything can happen at any time to anyone, and it will affect the collective. It will affect us all, because Aquarius is also, it doesn't have a center, and it doesn't have boundaries. There is no beginning and the end. It's just like electricity. We don't know where it begins and ends. It just keeps going, right? Or like, everything that is invisible, that we can't see, when, you're sitting in a room and there is person downloading something and you don't even see it, right? It's all this on this invisible world, like Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they are the subconscious. They are not visible. They are not like in our everyday reality. This like with Venus and Mars and Mercury, and it's this thing that we come across all the time. These are things that are coming to the surface gradually. They get triggered. They get they get activated through transits. And anyway, so this is pretty much what's been going on. And getting back to what I was talking about is that all these themes are literally to lead us to the same point, which is to become your own authority. Because as we can see from what's going on in the world, you can't really, and we have had the opportunity to discover that in past 3 years, right? You cannot rely on government to govern, to come and save you, right? Like, most people there don't care, they don't care. Like, just look at what's going on in Eastern Europe. Do you think the people that lead these countries, they care? Do you think they care who's going to be affected and how? No, they don't care. So pretty much, this is showing us like all these really, really tragic situations, very challenging situations that are going on in the world, and turning some people's lives into dust, literally. They are showing us that you cannot rely on some authority outside of yourself. And this is what's making people to start trusting themselves, that I can only rely on myself, and I can rely on this person that I can trust, which is no government, So this is where the Aquarian theme comes in again, which is about communities. It doesn't have to be communities like, some hippie style, because that's what people usually think about, that, oh yeah, communities, let's make hippie, whatever. No, this is about having these people that you can trust and rely on. And it's not going to be this huge one center system, like one world order, right? But it's going to be a smaller like ecosystems, right? That can rely on each other. People can trust each other. And that's what you can see even with all these disasters that are going on at the moment, how people help each other, like how this is where you know, like you have people who think about lack and scarcity, and they say, oh yeah, if there is a war, you know, I quickly have to take care of myself, you know, I have to like as long as I have, you know, or as long as it doesn't affect me, right? But that's not what you see. That's not what you see. When you see this disaster, people really come together. That's where the human essence, the compassion and the love that is within every single one of us, that because we came from love, we are love, we are, the point of everything is love. If there was no love, this wouldn't exist. This entire world would not exist. So when all these situations happen, that's what forces people to come together and to really reevaluate. And this is what I've been talking about, like broken record since, you know, before the full moon in Leo and during the full moon in Leo, where this is exactly what I said. That is very likely something will happen that will make people to reprioritize what is important in life. And this is to wake us up. This is to help us to step into this Aquarian mode where we understand that we cannot rely on these structures that were in place for all these times, because they don't work, because they're dysfunctional, they're archaic, they don't serve any good. Like not all aspects of them, but predominantly, you know, like obviously there are still positive aspects of them, because, you know, they keep some kind of order in a society, right? But when it comes to situations like this, you can't always rely on you know, the person in charge. You have to rely on your people in your environment that care, that can help, you know. That's not going to be somebody coming to save you from capital or something, right? You have to be able to trust the people that are around you, that you know. And this is what these situations are inviting us to do. And this is, again, circling back to the Aquarian age, Aquarian time, where people will have to take their sovereignty back. They will have to learn to rely on themselves and each other in Aquarian fashion. Aquarian is very humanitarian sign. You know, it can be very aloof, it can be very detached, but in core essence, it wants to help, it wants to save, you know, it wants to save the humanity, because in opposition is Leo, which is all about your heart, you know, it's all about your destiny, about the purpose. And that's what I feel, what is my, you know, what is my intuition. I'm not saying this is the truth, or this is, you know, perfect way of analyzing the charts. I'm not even saying I'm an astrologer, guys, you know, like I've not been doing this for 20 years like some people, so I can't say I know everything there is to know about this stuff. I'm just doing a practical application of astrology from where I am at, for what I understand into the life, right? And what I'm getting intuitively is that all this that's happening is perfectly reflected by astrology, because all this Mercurian, you know, since Mercury got into the sign of Aquarius, we have all this information one after the other. Obviously, Mercury is super fast. It's like it's in its exaltation, modern exaltation in the sign of Aquarius. Super intelligent, super fast. Things are happening very fast. But also all these communications Mercury is doing, you know, like with the sextile to Jupiter, sextile to Jupiter. So it's questioning, like, I give you this information, is this the truth? You know, or Jupiter, like, you know, all optimistics in a sign of Aries, like, yeah, I got this new truth, you know, like, and it does, you know. But whose truth it is, you know, we have to understand that we all have our own subjective truth. You know, it's most of the time it's not the universal truth, what we believe. It's our personal truth based on our experience and, you know, like whatever we resonate with, which is fine, you know, as long as everybody accepts that the other person has also the right to have their own truth. But anyway, going back to this Mercury-Jupiter thing, you know, which is happening right now, we also have to learn to discern what is actually my truth. You know, does it resonate with me? Like, not just blindly follow and believe every bloody thing that, you know, it's on the news, but to discern, like, how likely is this to be the truth? And if it is the truth, what is the intention? Why am I hearing this message? So this is another aspect of the Aquarian age, which is so important, which is Mercury going through the sign of Aquarius is inviting us to do this, that you have to be able to gather information and then discern, is this relevant to you? Is it applicable to you? And is this your truth? because you don't know where the truth is coming from. You just get in the information, and then you have to run it through the Virgo, this is the mutable cross, right? The Virgo, the Sagittarius, and then the Pisces. So, Virgo goes through the analytical process of like, okay, is this relevant? Is it not relevant? Then, like Sagittarius, okay, now this I'm going to make my truth, my perception of reality based on, this that Virgo decided is relevant. And then that's gonna lead to your purpose, to like higher meaning that gives a higher meaning in life. So now getting all this information while Mercury is going through the sign of Aquarius and doing these aspects, also, making trine to Mars, which is ruled by Mercury. So obviously, because Mars is still in Gemini, so that again is getting this Aquarian touch, because Mercury is an Aquarius. So again, this Mars wants to act, it wants to step out of the box and do something different, something that reflects who I am. So this is what it's all about, and this is what this preparation, this transition until Pluto gets into a sign of Aquarius, because that's gonna be a brand new show, guys. Like, this is like, even like listening to my teacher and the things that I'm coming across, the thing I'm intuitively getting, that's not gonna be just fun. I mean, like, yes, it's gonna have huge potential, huge opportunities, and the world's going to be a completely different place in 20 years time, but the process of getting there is not going to be easy. No way. Like, it's going to be a complete death and rebirth. And that's what the Pluto is about. So this transition we're going through at the moment is a preparation. So that's why we have all these astrological aspects going on at the same time, with the Mercury like gathering information, letting us know what is still restricting you, what is your truth, how you want to think for yourself, out of the box. Aquarian, Mercury in Aquarius. How do you want to think for yourself? What is your truth? Making the positive aspects, to Jupiter, you create your, perception of reality based on that. Positive aspect to Mars, how you're going to act. Now now you have this information, what you're going to do about it, how you're going to integrate it into your life, how you're going to integrate it into your identity, because then Mars is obviously going to move into Cancer, which is your ego identity. It's about what makes me emotionally safe, secure, taking responsibility for that. So all these aspects, everything that's going on in the sky right now, including the Venus, I already talked about the Mercury-Venus story. It's about recognizing, what am I thinking? How am I thinking? How am I being influenced by what I'm thinking? What is my truth? Is it my truth, or is it someone else's truth? And if it's somebody else's truth, what's the agenda behind it? Why am I being told this? The Venus archetype, my values, what is important to me? Who is important to me? We don't have to hang out with the people we hang out for 20 years if these people don't get us anymore. There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody goes in their direction. It vacates space for people who are in alignment with who you are. Who are you becoming? It's okay. Some people are to stay, some people are to not stay. It's fine. So that's with Venus. Venus just met up with Neptune. So it's all about ending of cycles. It's about dissolving. It's about beginning new cycle. Now, obviously, Venus, is making this 29-degree aspect with Pluto, which is all about the self-empowerment. Pluto in Capricorn, again, where you feel restricted, where you feel that you don't have your power back. Is it the relationship? Is it this value? Is it attachment to that thing? What is it, And then Venus will go into Aries, as I said, the same day as the new moon. Again, no coincidence. We have beginning and the endings. We have the endings in a sense of, yes, it's in a Pisces. And obviously Saturn will be, in a closing phase to this, because Saturn is still in the sign of Aquarius. But where there is a closing, where there is an ending, there is a new beginning. New moon is a new beginning. So it's an opportunity for something new, for something with a deeper meaning. And Venus getting into the sign of Aries is again about new beginning. Aries is all about new beginning, or Jupiter being there. So Venus is going to meet up with Jupiter. He's going to give her some message about, higher perception of reality, being optimistic, stuff like that. But again, so what we're learning about Mercury, we're learning about thinking process. We're learning about how we identify the reality and who impacts our cognitive process, how we do that. Venus, the values, the relationships, the survival. How am I being able to take care of myself? The self-love. Do I love myself enough to do it? Because guys, it's not gonna be easy. The next 20 years is gonna be not easy. So we have to want to be here. We want to fight, you know, like literally you have to find that purpose. You have to find that zest for life, the desire. You know, Pluto is all about the desire. It's about the desire for the incarnation. It's the desire that I want to be here. I want to show up for myself. And that's what it's all about. You know, with this new moon in Pisces, is about this higher meaning. It's about the purpose, but you need to believe, you need to trust yourself. So this is the most important thing. This is the whole theme of the year. Like I keep saying, once the nodes go into the Aries, Libra is even more about that, because the Aries, like I said, is these new energies, this self-discovery, it's all that. So this is what we learn in this year. This is the prep. This is the prep time, the preparation, where we learning all these things that we need to know, we need to have in place, because once Pluto fully goes into the sign of Aquarius, there's no going back. There's no going back. Everything is going to accelerate, everything is going to change. And then again, the other big planets, Uranus, Neptune, they're going to change signs also. Uranus is going to go into Gemini. So, oh my God, the information world is going to be accelerated by 360 degrees. Because Mercury, it's all about how we identify reality, our communication. Uranus going in there, like just see what's going on now with Mercury being in Aquarius. When Uranus go into Gemini, and it's gonna be there for a long time, you know, over a decade. And Neptune is gonna go, where is it, Neptune? Neptune's gonna go into Aries. Oh my God, again, new beginnings. Like, it's crazy stuff that's gonna happen in next 3 years, and this is the prep. This year, what we're going through right now, this is the preparation. This is giving us the opportunity to become sovereign at least within how we identify ourselves in this reality, you know, like to own it. I am me. I am what I think, what I believe, who I trust, what are my values, who are my people, you know, who I want to hang out with, who I want to rely on with my life, you know, because we all need each other. We are interdependent. It's not good to be codependent, interdependent, you know, like we are social creatures. We need each other for survival, right? Like, you know, we didn't come here just to be on a top of the mountain, meditate all day and just not care about the world, which some people have that purpose, but it's very, very few percentage of, of people in the world. So again, going back to what's going on astrologically. So this, what's going on astrologically, it's perfectly being reflected by what's going on below. What as above, so below. And this is the opportunity. And it's always, usually, not always, most of the time, it's happening through challenging situation. Because we don't really grow when we are in comfort zone. We don't really grow when things are going well. Like, yeah, we learn something, but it's not these times that shape us. It's not these times that make you a diamond, you know? Diamond becomes under the pressure. And then when you look back into your past, it wasn't the good time that made you the strong person you are today. This is another factor of it, the emotional self-reliance, the resiliency, you know, when Mars goes into the sign of Cancer, right? How am I able to make myself safe, keep myself safe, at least emotionally? So no matter what's going on this external, like what disaster, what will I lose materially, or even people that I care about, that I have myself, that I can trust myself, that I still have my own truth and my own perception of reality. I don't have to go to someone else to tell me how to live my life. And this is what it is about this year, this prep. This is what it is about. And it is happening through very, very difficult situations, like no doubt. And that's why it's so important to do the work, to find your own peace in your heart, you know, to find this spiritual practice or something that will help you, you know, the people that will help you, and also to go through this purging and clearing process where we get rid of these things that don't serve us anymore, because they take in space, they take in our energy, and we need to get rid of them, because there are new things coming and we need to make space for them. And also the things that don't serve us anymore, they're not going to support us in these challenging times which we're going to face. We have to be prepared. We have to be in full power. And that's why these transits and the energies that they are bringing, they, in a really uncomfortable, tragic, sad way, are trying to support us. They're trying to wake us up. And that's what Amanda talks about in this video. That's why it's so profound. That's why it's so important, because there are two different aspects of it. but that's the core essence of it, that we really need to do that. We really need to wait. Like, of course, for everybody is at different times, but like how much suffering there has to be for people to wake up, to say no, and to stand up for themselves, to be sovereign. Like, yes, we still will depend to a certain extent, you know, like we can't all provide everything for ourselves, like, you know, unless you have your farm and, you know, like you fully self-sufficient and stuff, which there are some people, but not that many. So we'll still need each other. But it's that matter of trusting yourself, believing in yourself, to understand, you know, your perception of reality, and not to be easily influenced and fed by media, and to see what's behind the story, you know, like why is this happening, why is this coming out now, what is it trying to achieve, how is it trying to influence me. So it's all about, like I said, the shadow aspect of Neptune is about the lies and deception and, you know, manipulation. So, you know, with this Saturn there, like still, like I said, how am I feeling restricted by this? What I'm being fed, or, you know, what boundaries do I need to create? You know, stuff like that. So I mean, like, I'm not saying that, you know, my interpretation of astrology is amazing. Like, you know, I'm sure that you can watch videos about this new moon and they give you much better astrological information. I'm just trying to connect the dots, guys, because that's what I'm actually doing. You know, I'm just trying to connect the dots, how, yes, things are being reflected in astrology 100%, but how this actually is reflected in the tangible, from the practical point of view, because we can see it very clearly in the world, what's happening. And like I said, this will keep happening. This will continue, because this is what it takes for a lot of people to wake up, to understand, you know, to take their power back, to want to take the power back, and to want to start thinking for themselves. Because, you know, where everything becomes Neptunian, everything becomes very unclear, very confusing, very nebulous. You know, what is the truth? What is the meaning? What is the purpose? And the only person that can give you an answer is yourself. Whoever gives you answer externally can't know what it is for you, because only you know. The seed is within you. So yeah, so that is really what's going on. Like, I mean, my interpretation, I'm not saying this is what's going on. This is my truth, my perception of reality. And if yours is different, that's perfectly fine. I'm just sharing my you know, how I see things. So yeah, so with this new moon in Pisces that is happening this Monday for most people in the most part of the world, is giving us opportunity to do that again, you know, to have a little you know, introspection and to think, like, you know, what it is that what is giving me the meaning, what is keeping me here on this planet. And like I said, without the purpose, without the sense of purpose, without wanting to be here and to show up for yourself, and really to, you know, to be strong and resilient, and have that courage to face whatever is coming, like how are we gonna make it through, you know? So that's why this new moon in Pisces, that is the opportunity, you know, like, put your intentions out there, make this a year to matter, to be, yes, about you, to be about you, because you need to become strong within yourself. Nobody else can do it for you, only you can do it yourself. And that's what it is about. And that's why all these tragic situations, in a sense, they are inviting us to do that, and to also, like I said, reprioritize what is important, who can you trust, and where can you seek the truth. Only within yourself you can gather the information, but nobody will tell you the truth. Only you can decide what is your truth, your perception of reality, right? So yeah, so here we go. This pretty much covers most of the transits. You know, I tried, even though I, you know, named them at the beginning, but I didn't want to make this too astrological and get people completely lost. Because like I said, you know, even when it comes to interpretation, you know, even I can't give the perfect interpretation. I'm sure there are astrologers who can do much better job than me. I'm just trying to do a practical application to how it actually shows up in a reality right now. And what is the core message, the why, because evolutionary astrology is all about the whys, which is why I'm so into it, because I'm very Plutonian, very Scorpionic myself. I have Pluto in Scorpio, South Node in Scorpio, Saturn in Scorpion, you know, so in 9th house. So I'm looking for my whys, you know, for my inner truth. So anyway, guys, I think I'll leave it at that, because this is a bit of a heavy message, I know. But like I said, with this Pisces, it's got a different, it's multidimensional as all of them. And because it's the 12th archetype, it contains all the archetypes that are before it. So, you know, and after this, it will be followed up by the full moon in Virgo, which is all about detox, purification, about, yes, service to yourself and service to others. And, you know, like overcoming this feeling of guilt and shame, but actually to, you know, to be on a trajectory towards healing and self-mastery and adjustment. So anyway, but that's for another time. I don't want to make this any longer. It's already long enough, half an hour. So anyway, guys, there is nothing really much to laugh about, I know, but I'm just trying to lighten the mood that I created for myself. And yeah, you know, perhaps this will be helpful to someone. I know it's not the most rosy message, but perhaps because it's not going away, you know, like whatever interpretation you're going to get, the energies are there, and the energies will keep showing up. Yes, for some people, like you know, they're already living the life of their dreams, but majority of the people aren't. And until we all are, then, you know, whatever is happening around us will impact everyone to a certain extent. So nobody is spared, because we are all on the same planet, right? So that's it, guys. Finally going, for sure. Yeah, actually I never mentioned, so yeah, please put like if you like this video, and yeah, like would be nice to have you subscribe to my channel. And if you see a value in it and you think somebody else would, then feel free to share it, of course. And check out Amanda Ellis' latest video if you want to know more about these topics that, you know, I briefly touched up on, and she goes into depth with them. And yeah, it's amazing teaching as always. Okay, have a great weekend, guys. I'll be back soon, and yeah, take care. Bye.